hear people saying that greyhounds don't molt. Is this true, or is it just an old wives' tale? Let's take a look. The majority of greyhounds that you meet as pets, especially the black ones, are likely to be sleek and shiny with a beautiful glossy coat. However, they don't always start out this way, and I'm sorry to tell you that if you have been told they don't shed, I'm afraid that's not quite true. Hair grows in cycles, with periods of active growth followed by a rest period where the hair is retained in the follicle as a dead hair that's ultimately shed. And this can be affected by temperature, by seasons, by diet, by hormones, by their overall health. Now, all dogs molt just as we molt. I definitely go through phases where I shed more hair when I have a shower. And dogs typically molt twice a year, in the spring and the autumn. So they're changing their coat for the summer and winter. Depending on where you live and how warm your house is, this might vary from a little bit of hair loss to really quite a lot of hair loss. I've had some dogs like Jim with a very fine coat who hardly shed at all, and others like AJ with a really thick coat who molts a lot. And what I also find is if they're molting, they can tend to get dandruff as well. So these two things do tend to go together. Greyhounds are described as having a single coat, but even on a sleeker dog like Jim, you can see you have this very fine fluffy layer underneath. And this is the stuff that always gets in my eyes. There is longer, thicker hair in some places, such as on the shoulders or along the back and at the nape of the neck. But we do have these little fluffy hairs too. You may also notice when you first home your greyhound that they have a thicker, fluffier coat than you might have expected. This coat might be dull, coarse or patchy, as in this picture of Pip when she first arrived with me. This is known as kennel coat, and just means that they've grown more fur to cope with the cooler conditions in the kennels, and it can be made worse if they haven't been groomed as regularly as they might have been at the time of the molt. So the loose fur and dander have built up in amongst the new hair. This fine fluffy hair can make them appear a different colour, particularly in the black dogs. They might seem almost chocolate or have a ginger undertone. You can see this on Floppy, who came with very bad kennel coat, and you can see this ginger tint quite clearly on his tail, and it's still there now. The only solution for kennel coat is to keep brushing until it's all out. Here on Floppy you can see how patchy it is. In some places I've managed to remove the kennel coat, and in others he doesn't have any proper coat yet, so there's just fluff. You might also see bits come out in tufts, as is happening here around his hindquarters. And sometimes this isn't really going to come good until the next molt happens, so how long it takes to get rid of the kennel coat can depend on the time of year that you get the dog. So what is best to brush them with to get rid of this kennel coat, or if they're molting? I found the best thing to remove this loose hair, or if they have kennel coat, is a rake or a shedding tool. These can be a bit like a hacksaw blade, while others look more like a comb. And they seem to specifically pull out that fine loose under hair and leave the sleeker new hairs behind. Hello, Gandel. You can also get a grooming mitt, which will give the dog a nice massage as you groom, but that may be great for regular grooming. It's not as effective at removing those little fluffy hairs that need to come out, as you can see on this comparison of the two after I've been brushing Jim. You do need to be careful using a rake if you have a dog that's low weight, of course. Be very careful to avoid any bonier areas. So in that dog, then you might be better off with the grooming mitt. A good diet is always a good idea, because this is going to have an effect on the quality and the quantity of hair that your dog grows. Hair is made of a protein called keratin, and growth is supported by essential fatty acids such as omega-3 and 6. Vitamins A, vitamin E and zinc. So you might want to include a supplement specifically intended for the skin, or try something like salmon oil added to their food to help boost the growth of the new coat as they lose the kennel coat. So that's all for today. If your dog has kennel coat, keep working at it, and sooner or later, I promise you, a sleek and shiny dog will emerge. We'll see you soon. Bye for now. Look out for new videos every Monday, and why not subscribe so you don't miss out.